What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jay Renee with Prison Ride Radio. I hope that you're doing well. This morning I have a special guest. Okay, he goes by DJELF7. He's out here doing the work. And when I say the work, I mean the real work. I had an opportunity to be on his show a while ago. I'm definitely going to be revisiting, but I wanted to open up the platform so we can, get more connected with him. And I can let y'all know all the good work that he's doing so we can get involved. All right. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going real well. I'm glad that we was able to link up today. It's been a while. I see you doing some good stuff out there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, yeah?
Yeah, so, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you from.
Okay. So, my name is DJELF7. I am actually in New York City right now. And I'm an activist, so I've never actually been locked up, but the fact of the matter is that I do have, I've been homeless several times since the age of 16. So, people who come out of prison a lot of times end up homeless because of, it's hard to get a job and other issues. So that community actually has always been kind of, around and close to me. So I know it's not perfect, but I also know that they're also human beings, and they face a lot of unique issues, so I've gotten wrapped up into that world as well, and I'm excited to have met you. I found out about your case when I was actually working with wrongfully and Keith Getz, and I saw your work, and it's pretty impressive, so
thank you.
I'm really looking forward to working with you. Now, some of the issues that's going on right now are being in New York State. New York State is I think the only state in the nation so far. They may have changed this recently, but right now, people are not allowed to send care packages to their loved ones. So you cannot mail anything to your to someone that you care about. You have to actually buy it from a third-party vendor, and they're going to mail it to that person.
Wow.
So that's ridiculous. So the thing is that I understand they may have concerns about people sneaking in stuff like into the prison system, whatever. But really, there's different ways that they can check for those types of problems. And let's be real, a lot of those problems are really being brought into the guards and the staff, which they're not talking about. So the thing is that people should, there's a lot of different ways that they're rolling out new ways to control and to, just dehumanize, another population that's completely not cool. So I really respect your work in terms of giving people, a voice that are often voiceless. And, these people in prison are still human beings, and they need a way to be heard and to be recognized. And I appreciate your work, and I'm looking forward to, now that it seems like Reverend Keith Farrell are making some forward progress, I want to make sure that since you were involved from the very beginning, I want to make sure that you also come up with this, because I don't want to leave anyone behind.
Right.
Yeah?
I thank you for the kudos, and like you were saying, that's how we first got connected, is through the brother Nolan and then the Reverend. I didn't know that all that stuff was happening up there in New York. And, one of the things I do is I expose all the bad parts of the system and what's going on. And I know that that's something they're still fighting. I know that you did some boots on ground work when it comes to that situation. Can you give a little bit of insight on what's going on with that currently, if you know, and, what made you get involved, and how did you meet them?
You mean, you're talking about Nolan Gatz, or are you talking about the getting rid of the prison commissary?
I'm talking about the case with Nolan with the corrupt DA that they had in New York.
Okay. So the thing is that I had actually been working, so because I'm a street activist. I've been homeless before. I'm also Asian American, and I've, always been attracted to kind of like, improving society, taking care of the environment, things like that. From a very young age, I think maybe from the age of 8, 10, right, I was always interested in that stuff, idealistic young kid. But the thing is that later on, right, when I was here in New York City, I was going to different events trying to build, a coalition, because being Asian American, I've looked at so many racial justice groups that never cared about Asian American issues. In fact, Asian American men I think our rights have declined and moved backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, also being homeless, right? A lot of times you see people not really addressing their issues either. They'll talk about it, but they don't really help us out. So this means that I've learned to take care of the people that are left behind. So other groups that I take care of besides people that were wrongfully imprisoned or just people in prison just in general, right? You can hear me talking about other issues that they're going through. I also help the disabilities community. And I was at National Action Network helping my man Mark Sassman, who we actually did a study on accessible pedestrian signals on 42nd Street. Many of them are missing. Some of them are inconsistent. Some of them are not working. There's like a whole, this is for people with disabilities on 42nd Street, one of the most highly traveled streets in the world, one of the most famous streets in the world. And, that's pretty sad. So we were at National Action Network trying to get things done. And I had met Reverend Keith Gadsden from another event. So, fighting like for whistleblowers, which is hilarious because that group has not backed us up. So I'm still in communications with them. Okay. When I was there, I actually ran into Nolan Farrell. He was actually just in the audience, right? And I was like, I was handing out my card, and I was like, hey, I'm an activist. And it's really hard for people because I'm an Asian American man. A lot of people have never seen or heard of this before, so they don't really take me seriously. So I'm always like promoting this work that I'm doing, let's build. And I ran into Nolan Farrell, and actually this is recorded, I think, on my channel on some of my videos. And he said, I said, what are you hearing? He said, I'm here working my own case. I said, oh, what's that? And he said, well, what are you? He wanted to know what I did first. So I said, oh, well, really, I'm a whistleblower. Because that's really kind of what I am, right? I hold people that have power accountable.
Right.
And he said, oh, I'm also a whistleblower. I said, oh, really? Because I know whistleblowers a lot of times, it's very hard for whistleblowers to get support. People want to say, oh, save the trees. That's easy. Nobody, you don't have to take on anybody for that. But in terms of taking on power, that's a whole level. Yeah. So he started saying, yeah, I'm trying to hold the Queen Bee accountable. I said, you know what? I take care of the people that don't get help. I see that people aren't really helping you out. Let me step up and get involved with your case. And from there, I just never really let it go. I also realized that his case was, as I started to find out more, I saw that how much evidence there was on his behalf. I said, this is something that looks like it's winnable. A lot of times the fights I do for people with disabilities, there's a lot of fights that we lose. But I'm hoping that Nolan can win. And sooner, Reverend Keith Gadsden, I found this out recently. Nolan Farrell was held in prison for 10 years. The DA Conviction Integrity Unit has a letter that says he should be freed. That's wild, right? So why isn't he free yet? Right. There's some corrupt BS going on. Reverend Keith Gadsden was in prison for 32 years, one of the longest in U.S. history. In fact, the longest held man in New York State history was wrongfully incarcerated, was there for 33 years. So Reverend Keith Gadsden is the second longest man in New York State history to be wrongfully incarcerated. He is this historically significant figure. And a lot of these other groups, right, that I've been contacting, I've been telling them about the significance of this. They, like that whistle group, blower group that I just told you about, right? They still scared to take this case. They still scared, and they call themselves whistleblower advocates. They really not, so that's hilarious.
Yeah, they only blow the whistle when it's not, the sound's not going far. And being in this work is something that it takes a lot of balls, for lack of a better word. What I mean? It takes a lot of balls. It takes a lot of courage, intestinal fortitude, and everybody not really set up for it. So I always commend the true soldiers in the work, and you definitely are. I be seeing your videos, and you be like boots on ground, in the thick of it, not afraid to speak up. So we definitely appreciate you for that, comrade. You definitely putting in the groundwork to stand there tall.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your work. You're doing a work that a lot of other people aren't doing. A lot of people don't want to hear from the actual people in prison. They want to just tell them how to live, or they want how to feel, how they're going to help them, but they don't want to actually talk to the people that are affected, and that's not right. So you are actually talking to them. I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you.
And once again, the voice for the people that cannot be heard. That's what activism is supposed to be about. Not supposed to be. A lot of times, unfortunately, it's twisted into carrying out the agenda of some millionaire, or trying to get more press for themselves as some candidate that's trying to gain for themselves, and really has no real commitment, has no real will not sacrifice anything for these communities that they supposedly represent or care for.
Right. You right on point with that, brother. So let me ask you, what else is going on in New York that the people need to know about and have maybe get involved with? What's going on?
Oh my God, there's so much. But right now the primaries are going on,
Okay.
so that's pretty significant. Now we're protesting against Melinda Katz, right? But the thing is that George Grasso, the other guy running on the Democratic candidate, he's saying that he wants to call the victims up in wrongful conviction cases, and he wants to try to get these people re-put back into prison.
What?
This guy, this guy is insane. This guy is crazy. Yeah, this guy's once again Nolan Farrell and have evidence, and I put stuff on his Facebook page. You can go take a look.
Okay.
I said, you should look into this case, right? He doesn't even want to look at the evidence. He's too busy trying to manufacture some narrative to try to get some votes.
Right.
This political system is so messed up. Yeah. So the primaries are happening. A lot of people just might take like a second or two to oh, that sounds good. Let me help out. No. Okay. Right. They got a pretty package, easy to digest TV, right, on the TV screen. They got to actually go and look for people like yourself, people like myself that are out here, boots on the ground. Actually, right, they talk about helping the workers, the socialists and stuff. They're not helping out, by the way. Yeah.
Right. They're not.
We're the workers. We're the ones doing the work as in terms of getting these people, are actually talking to people that are affected.
Right.
Those are the workers. So, those ideals are not necessarily bad, but look at their implementation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to just double down on just how politicians can be. When it's time to get those votes, they put on this shiny suit and they, put the spotlight on themselves and be trying to dazzle, and it really just fizzles out. And that's also sometimes where they'll expose themselves and who they really are and what they plan to do. These politicians are very,
and
very
even worse, one more thing I want to add is,
yes.
Yeah. Despite the fact that you're doing significant work, despite the fact that I'm doing significant work, these politicians will not talk to someone like yourself.
Oh, no.
Right? You look at your work; it's unique, right? Yeah. You look at the amount of you can follow your background, right? I'm working with you. I'm very politically involved. I see your value.
Right.
We're the politicians that they don't want to talk to someone like yourself because you make them look bad.
Yeah, because I'm not going to let them just say anything. This is true. Because I'm not going to let them just say anything like, oh, okay, I'm going to ask those hard questions. I'm going to ask the questions that the people have, you know what I mean? And put their answers on the blast and on the spot. And they don't be prepared for that. You right, bro. Nah.
Yeah. They don't want to be exposed for their lies, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, well,
right.
It's okay for them to not know as much, but they got to work with us. That's what's up, but they don't. And it's a problem.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think if they really trying to get some work done, you should, get with the people that's doing the work. And if you're not, then that means you're not trying to do it. I mean, what else can be assumed from that? Like, it's like, hey, right here, I'm selling pineapples, and you say you need pineapples, but you won't come to my stand. Somebody don't need pineapples.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another thing that I think that the prison industry is in a lot of trouble for, the thing is that if we look at China, right, yeah, a lot of their manufacturing, they're starting to cut it back, right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that labor, right, those pennies per hour, right, yeah?
Yeah.
There's another place where U.S. gets pennies per hour for labor. You know where that is.
Yeah.
Where is that?
I know. That is the prison industrial complex. Yes.
They're ready to expand, right? If they can't get those cheap goods from China, I bet you they're going to expand into another area, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think they're going to expand and try to find a new cheap labor force? Oh, they're trying to find more black people to throw them up in prison and to keep their, this is it's not cool, yeah?
Yeah, I believe you. I
get
you on that.
And by the way, black people, I do want to also address the issues. If you look at the percentage of people that are in prison per 1,000, right? The thing is that black people are number one. That's undeniable. Not cool at all. It's actually some slavery to some extent. Mm-hmm. Native Americans and Pacific Islanders, they're actually very high level of incarceration as well, which really isn't talked about. In fact, they're incarcerated at higher levels than Latino people.
I didn't know.
So a lot of people, you can look it up. Yeah, I can actually send you those numbers. So because of it, just politically, they have small numbers. Right, you don't get to hear about that. Yeah, Asians have the lowest level of incarceration, right? Just straight up Asian, but Pacific Islands and Native Americans are actually incarcerated at higher levels than Latin Americans. So, but there's a lot of ways, because Latin Americans have more people, those advocacy groups are able to get heard more, and,
Right.
other groups get crowded out. So, I specialize in looking for people that get left behind, right? Yeah, that's why I'm making sure you're not getting left behind. You was one of the original people to help on this case.
I appreciate
I'm going to make sure that you don't get left behind. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. I appreciate that, and I definitely think the knowledge. I didn't know that about the Pacific Islander and Native American population. So please send those numbers. I'm all about knowledge and knowing and growing. So I definitely want to pay attention to that and help bring some awareness to that situation. 100%, bro. Thank you for that. I'm not going to run us too long. But I do want to know, is there anything else that we should know to get involved with, or anything that you just want to put out to the people about anything, whatever's on your mind?
Well, this Reverend Keep Guys in the Overall situation is actually something I've been, it's exciting to see the progress on it, right? In some ways, because National Action Network and Al-Sharpton are getting involved.
Good.
But you can see, if in the footage that's going to be coming out soon, that the press is not story.
Right.
It's got all behind Jordan Neely, right? Yeah.
Right.
And they like him because he's dead. He can't say anything about what's going on currently, right? What are they doing to actually help subway musicians now? What are they doing to help subway performers now? They're not.
Right.
So the thing is that